Hello booktube, hello book friends. Welcome back to my channel and another reading week video. This one is for the week ending Saturday the 16th of August 2025, and probably will be quite quick because I've finished a couple of books and I'm still reading one. The first one that I finished, I think I mentioned last week, and is an audiobook, and it's the Postscript Murders by Elly Griffiths. Now this I finished fairly early in the week, I think, probably sort of Monday or Tuesday, and it's the second in the Harbinder Kaur series. So she is on this one, she is a detective sergeant with the West Sussex Police investigating the murder. Well, sorry, investigating the death of an elderly lady in a sort of block of sheltered accommodation, who appears to have links to various crime authors, and acts as what is called a murder consultant, in that she thinks up murders for these crime writing authors. Now, it's thought that her death was actually was a result of natural causes. However, one of the authors who she advised is murdered, and then things start to kind of look a little bit more complicated. And so there is an investigation. There is also a group of there's a cafe owner, the carer who found the lady who died, and another tenant in the same block of sheltered accommodation, who all think that she was murdered but can't prove it, have no evidence, and they are also investigating, in a kind of amateur way, and the two sets of stories kind of intertwine and cross over. This one I liked a little bit more than the previous one, I think because it was a single narrator. So it was just a single narrator to doing all of the story and all of the different voices, and I think that works better. And although this was told it was told in the sort of I suppose it's the third person, but from the perspectives of the different characters, whereas the previous one was told from the perspective of different characters but in the first person, so they had different narrators doing the different characters. And there wasn't quite in this one quite so much backtracking over things that had already happened, which is what annoyed me about the other one. So yeah, quite enjoyed it. It was an interesting mystery. Again, I think, although I thought I worked this one out, I had and I hadn't, which I don't want to say too much because that would spoil the end of the book. But yeah, so I think they're quite, I don't know. I want to say they're not predictable in the sense of who the murderer is or isn't. But she has a particular style, or at least seems to from the books that I've read, which makes it, even if you don't follow the clues, relatively easy to work out who the murderer is. So yeah, it's just the style of writing. The other book that I finished this week, and is a buddy read with Debs at Rainer Read Stuff and Gavin at Genre Books, is Umberto Eco's The Prague Cemetery. Now, at the time I'm recording this, we haven't had a chance to discuss the book. I think I'm a little bit further ahead, or I was, than Debs and Gavin. So don't want to say too much, but it's I don't know. I don't quite know whether I like this or not. Basically, it's the there are lots of characters in the book. The vast majority of who are or were real, so they existed at the points in history. So this is mostly in the mostly in around the late 1800s. Although there are some jumps in time when other things are happening, and it is mostly told through the eyes of Simonini, who well, that's part of the he may or may not be a priest. There's various sort of twists in the story. There is a lot of anti-Semitism in this book. There is a lot of hatred to all sorts of different groups. Jews, Jesuits, who are pretty much everybody at some point comes in for it, and I found some of that quite off-putting, although it did actually happen. So it's not it's historical fact, not historical fiction, if that makes sense. But it was quite unpalatable at times. So in that sense, I didn't enjoy the book. But yeah, overall, I think I did. But as I say, don't want to say too much more than that because we haven't talked about it yet. So I might revisit. Sorry, I don't think I've actually said what it is. It's Umberto Eco's The Prague Cemetery, which I think is his last. Is it his last work of fiction? I'm not sure. It might be. Obviously, he's best known for the name of the Rose. Yeah, it might be his last work of fiction. I can't remember. But anyway, so that I finished as well. And then currently reading, but nearly finished. So I've got a couple of 300 or so pages to go of Les Misérables. Now, I don't think I was very far along with this when I recorded my last video, but I have managed to really pick up the pace. I've been quite surprised how much time I've had to read this week, which has been quite a bit. I've had various things that were supposed to happen didn't. Plus, it's been ridiculously hot outside, so there's kind of little compunction to go in the garden and do things when you turn into a kind of sweaty blob within about 30 seconds. So I've mostly been staying indoors, which means I've mostly been reading. So yeah, quite well. I think I will probably finish this, if the weather continues the way it is, in the next couple of days, certainly over the weekend, I would think. I am really enjoying it. I'll talk about it a bit more when I've finished, I think. But yeah, this is kind of the story of it's a story of redemption, love, sort of revenge, pretty much what you'd expect from a work of classic literature. I mean, it's a tome, whatever this is 1400 plus, no, 1100 and something odd pages, 1194, so call it 1200 pages. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Do I enjoy it more than The Count of Monte Cristo? I will wait till I've finished. There are some sections of it where Victor Hugo does quite kind of not goes off on a tangent, but he does go in for making sure you understand the historic context and background of certain things. So there's a big chunk on the Battle of Waterloo, which I know a reasonable amount about, and so kind of found that quite, for me, quite repetitive. I think if you didn't know a lot about it, it's useful, because in the context of some of the characters who were there at the time and what happened to them. So he uses those blocks of kind of historical stuff as context for the background of the characters. So there's that. There's the there's I think everybody knows about kind of the barricades and things like that. So yeah, I think ultimately. I don't think you need to know a lot about kind of that sort of period of history to like the book or enjoy the book. I think it helps if you know a little bit, about kind of the kings and Napoleon and things like that. That helps, but I don't think you need to know masses more than that. So, yeah, I am enjoying this, and probably in a week's time, I'll talk about it in a little bit more detail. But I would, even though I haven't finished it, I think I would recommend this to anybody. Definitely worth a read. And that's it. I don't know what I'm going to read after this. I haven't thought that far ahead. So yeah, I haven't got another audiobook on the go either at the moment. So I was going to read the next one in the same series, but it's on loan to somebody else and not available till whenever it is, end of the month, I think. So I might just wait for that. So that's it. Yep. If you have been, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.